Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eye of Soul Radio. I am Psychic Medium Jaime, and I am here on this lovely Monday morning, already having technical difficulties. So what are you going to do, right? We just adapt. I don't know. It's the camera thing. The USB, it doesn't fit in. It is what it is. We make it work. I love the topic today. I am talking about angels, and I know I've covered bits and pieces of it on previous shows with Shades of Spirit or Eye of Soul. But you know what? I haven't gone into it in this depth. And we just hosted a workshop on angel phylums and learning about different angels, where they come from, the levels of them, the hierarchy, if you will. And I thought, you know what? This is such a fascinating topic. And I learn more and more every time I learn about angels. It puts me into their energy to connect. And it allows me to be able to give more within my own readings as a psychic medium. So if we think about it, angels started at the beginning of creation, just like a lot of us out there, right? Now, if it's creation you believe in, if it is God's source you believe in, that is up to you. But angels came from that time period. You hear about kids having direct interactions with angels or people, a lot of times if they're in crisis, right? So when I did a workshop a while ago, I had done some research on stories of people who had been affected in their lives by angels. It gives me the chills to this day to think about it. And the one that they had talked about that really caught my attention, having a family of my own, and yes, having to drive places from time to time, is that it was a family and there were three small kids in the back seat. And it was a drunk driver. They hit the driver's side and pretty much just crushed that car. No one should have walked out of that car. And sure enough, the family, I believe it was five, everyone survived. And when they got to the hospital to get checked out, the kids kept saying, "Mommy, who were those gigantic beings around us? Who was holding us?" And it gives me chills, and it gets me a little emotional to think that these kids don't know any better. And to have that effect and to be able to save their lives is probably one of the only times our angels actually interfere without us asking. It was not this family's time to go. And you'll find countless stories on the internet, just talking to people. I actually have a good friend who who has died. I've had quite a few people as clients who have actually told me their stories. And it's fascinating because 9 out of 10 times, some type of angelic being is around them in that moment. Also, you look at churches, they have angels on the stained glass, right? They'll have angels as figurines. Sometimes you'll find that, you can go to any type of like Hallmark. I know I'm dating myself again, but stores like that, and you'll see the little cherub angels. They're everywhere. We're inundated with them. And if you're into them, like my counterpart, Spirit Walker Nicole, Shades of Spirit, working with an angel medium is just fascinating because she can connect at that level and have that information at the ready, where it takes me a little bit longer to get up there. And that's okay. That's why we work with different people. But some people have direct links in that way. And some of us, we know they're part of our spirit team. We come in with angels, we come in with spirit guides, and we have to ask them. We have to connect with them, whether that be in meditation, brushing your teeth in the morning, whatever it might be. But every single person watching out there, you have a direct link to your own angel team and any of the angel phylums that I talk about today. Why is that? Because we're free will. We have to ask for them to come in and work directly in our energy with us. And in doing so, today I'm going to give you some tips on what type of phylums to call in for what you're going through in your life. So, we all know there's angels, right? What do we do with that information? That's a good question. Do we smile and think, "Oh, that's so cool. There's angels out there. All right, now let me get back to my day-to-day activities." A lot of us do that, right? Or do we actually just connect with them daily? Or sometimes we still try and go through this road called life alone, forgetting sometimes, or just not being aware or feeling unworthy of asking them to come in and work with us to help us, right? And I know for me that even in my lowest times in the past couple years have brought me in and out of those states so often and so quickly that when I am in that space, I am not thinking to myself, oh, maybe I should call in my angels, my spirit team, because I'm in that human emotion, I'm in that energy. But I can guarantee you that when I finally get myself together enough and it clicks, I'm like, okay, I can use that love, that support. Maybe it's healing energy from Archangel Raphael. Maybe it's just, cutting some energetic cords or some protection from energy from Archangel Michael. But did you know that there's other angels out there that can help us on those levels as well? There is just so much out there in the angelic realm. And many of us are realizing today that we can actually use them to our benefit. That's what they're here for, is to help and support and love us, right? So let's talk about, I'm going to give you the list of them, and then we're going to go through each section as we go through breaks and stuff. But these are the ones we're going to cover today. We're talking about angels. Those are your angels, your spirit team, the ones that are with us, that come in with us from the time that we're created until the time that we no longer want to come back and do this. We have archangels. We have cherubim and seraphim. I love this group. I work with them often now. Powers, the carrions, the virtues, the dominions, thrones, principalities. Gosh, that's a lot, right? And there's more out there, but we don't have time in one show to cover them all. But how many of you have heard of any of these phylums? Give a shout out. Love interaction on Facebook as well. So yeah, if you've heard of some of them, awesome. If you want more information, that's what I'm going to give you today. Now, before we go to break, I'm going to talk about the cherubim and the seraphim. Okay. And I like to work with them. And when I first started doing research years and years and years ago about angels, cherubim to me were always the angels of, beauty. And you see them, in commercials for Valentine's Day over there shooting the arrows, right? Also, if you look into the Bible, if you look into some of these different religions, and actually what's interesting is you can follow many different religions, and this seems to be a thread that's similar through them, is that the cherubim are actually guarding the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve were removed from there. You will find that on Noah's Ark, they say that there are cherubims that have been carved into the posters of there as well, right? It's fascinating to think about. But the way that I connect with them is that they are about music, okay? They help us heal through music, which is so cool to think about. They have tonal qualities that we've never heard in human form. Which makes me wonder sometimes. Think of the great artists like Mozart, composers that can't hear but still can create these beautiful masterpieces. That is amazing. How are they getting that information? Maybe it is that they are working directly with this class of angelic energy, right? Maybe it is that they are hearing it telepathically and able to create it for us to enjoy and to listen. So think about some of these composers, even the ones that can't see, right? They're having to do it by hearing, but that sense is heightened because one of their senses have been lost. And so are they able to tap into this angelic realm and connect and be able to give us a piece of that music in human form? I'm thinking so. The more research I do, the more I connect with them, the more that I bring them in as well. Also, when we can work with these energies, cherubim and seraphim, they're some of the most joyous angelic energies to work with. And who wouldn't be when they're up there creating music and allowing us to enjoy that process as well? If you want to connect with them, you can go into a meditative state. You can ask your spirit team to take you up to the Hall of Voices. Now, call it what you will. It's going to be something different for each one of us. But I like to go there off and on when I'm looking for some healing energy through that modality. If you think about that, music penetrates every soul. It penetrates every cell within our physical bodies. Why? Because it's vibration, right? That vibration will permeate into the cells within our body. So why do you think so many people like sound healing, or they'll do the toning forks, they'll do shamanic drums? Any of those type of things are to help put us into that space, are there to help guide us on our path and to help us heal at that cellular level. So for you can actually ask them to come in when it's time for you to just chill out, Maybe it's before bed, you're not feeling so great. You can say, all right, spirit team, come on, let's bring in the seraphim and cherubim. You can put in your own music, or you can just meditate in some silence. I know that's hard for a lot of us, or just let them do their work. That's the best way to do it for me, is just to let them do their work. It is all vibration. So you might actually start getting twinges in a muscle. Or if you've got joint issues, maybe your knee's been bothering you and all of a sudden you have a muscle spasm in that muscle across the knee. It's working, right? If you don't normally have that muscle spasm in that knee and all of a sudden you feel it, that's that energy moving into that space in order to help work through whatever it is that needs to be healed. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to say that by calling in the angels, all of a sudden all of your ailments are going to be healed. It's work on both of our parts. But why not ask for the assist? Why not try it out and see how that works for you? And I can guarantee you that a lot of you are going to feel something within that physical body, right? If we call on them, they will come. If we don't, they're not. Again, you have to ask for them to come in. And since we're created in energy, we live in energy. Why is that not possible? That's the question, right? And the fact that I am a Reiki master and I do Reiki energy work, it's really cool to see how that process goes and how I can actually amplify a session and actually have repeat clients where when I bring in another group that we'll talk about here shortly, they're like, whoa, what happened to the session today? Like, what was going on around me? Or this is what I was feeling inside. That's how I know. That's how I know that it's working. So, you guys, let's go to break. We will come back and talk about angels and archangels. You guys can book a 1-hour reading with me, Psychic Medium Jaime, on shadesofspirit.com. From the end of March this month to the end of April next month, it is only $75 for a 1-hour reading. And that's a psychic medium reading. So who knows who's going to come in from your loved ones? Who knows what's going to show up in the cards, what your spirit team has to say? But it's a really good time right now to check in and to kind of, start off spring and summer in a new direction. Or if you want clarity or validation, that's what I'm here to do for you. So you guys, I will see you right after this break. Hey everybody, Psychic Medium Jaime here with Eye of Soul Radio, and today we are discussing the different phylum categories of the angelic realm. Now, this is coming from my perspective. I work with Spirit Walker Nicole, so I do rely on some guidance from her as well. So this is not all my doing, so I want to give her a shout out because I have a lot of questions when it comes to the angelic realm. And I think it's because for me as a psychic medium, I move directly into the energy parallel. And this is what we were talking about last night. So for me, I like to stay in that middle zone or that middle realm and into the lower realms because that's where I work. I don't want to say the best, but that's what I have the knowledge of, right? From doing this since age 5. And for me to work in those angelic realms, it was hard to find that it was okay for me to ask them for help. A big thing for me was like, well, I don't want to ask Archangel Michael to come in because, he's probably working with 100 other people. The angels have the ability, you guys, to be in multiple places at multiple times. And the other part for me was that for some reason, I didn't feel worthy enough to connect on that level. And yet I could talk to spirit teams and they're a higher level, right? And I have the gift of being able to speak with past loved ones or friends or whatever it might be, and to help those in a lower vibration. And yet there was something still that was holding me back. And the more I talked to, working with Spirit Walker Nicole over the past, 3, 4, 5 years, it starts to bring my vibration higher. It teaches me different ways to connect. I'm in awe when people can connect that high that fast, and it takes me a few minutes to get up there. But once I'm in that space, you don't want to ever leave. It's just the most beautiful, warming sensation, except for me, when I do shows like this or I connect with someone's spirit team and angels, it's freezing. So different body sensations when you're connecting in those levels help kind of validate for you as a human, maybe a little skeptical if that's really who you're talking to. Check in with your own body. Like, I am freezing from head to toe right now. And we were just talking on the break, like, it's going to be 80 here in San Diego again. I should not have that bone chilling cold, but that's when I know I move into that vibration. So let's start out with our archangels and angels. Angels, again, you guys are part of your spirit team. Woohoo! We all have them. Connect with them. For me, mine stand behind me. My spirit guides are more in front of me. You might notice, and when we teach mediumship classes and we teach you how to connect with your own spirit team to build that relationship, we don't just give you, okay, that is Mary Kay and she is your angel of the day. That's not how that works. You have to be able to bring them in, get to know their energy, build that relationship with them to be able to work with them over time. But you can, at the drop of a hat, call on them. All right, angels, this is what I need today. Or if you're in the moment of something, or I need some strength. I know a lot of us will pray to different, gods. We can pray to different saints, to the angels, whatever it is. We don't have to have that long, introduction. It can just be, this is what I need right now. I'm connecting with you. Please come in. Let's work through this. Archangels, though. So we're not going to spend a bunch of time in this section because I know a lot of you have heard of them. But the three things that we have to do really in order to connect with them, and I say have because we have free will, is we must ask for their help. They never judge us. So remember that. Even if we are feeling unworthy, they are not judging us. That is not their place. Okay. So that's why it makes it a little bit easier sometimes to call them in, is to know that we are not being judged by them. And they are the purest forms of love and light. Why would they have been created otherwise? Now, we won't get into, it's a whole different show when we get into fallen angels, if you will, or angels that, may have not gone on the path. But for today, we're talking about the purest form, and everything is created in that, right? And that's what those archangels and angels are doing. They're being created in that to help us. These are what we believe as universal truths. Again, it's our perspective. Talk to someone else, you're going to get something different. That's the beauty of what we do. So I'm going to give you some archangels. You guys can write it down. You guys can record it. You can watch it on a podcast. Well, I guess you have to listen to it on a podcast, watch it live again. But really take in these names, because these are ones that Spirit Walker Nicole and I were talking about last night and connecting you guys with. So we have Archangel Michael. Protection, that is her go-to. She works a lot with his energy, being able to help cut cords for me. So I will use him in healing sessions with Reiki energy work, or when I'm clearing a house or whatever it might be, I will ask him to help me clear, cut, and cancel any cords or ties to energy. So he comes in and helps do that. If I'm going to a space that I know has a lower vibration that needs to be, moved out, or whatever we need to do with it in a space or land or office, I always have him with me as part of my team. My angels can do it, but I like to have that extra assurance of that archangel coming in to work with me. And I also invite in Archangel Raphael. He is of healing, right? So if you called in Archangel Raphael, the cherubim and seraphim, can you imagine what type of healing session you can do on your own? That's for you. That's to empower you, you guys. Archangel Raphael is really that healing energy and coming through and working through it with us, whether it's emotional, it's physical. We can ask him and Archangel Michael to work through traumatic parts of our lives to help us, work through that energy and to continue our own spiritual ascension. They're great at doing that. We also have Archangel Uriel, knowledge and wisdom. So if you're looking for some sort of knowledge, wisdom, guidance, you can bring in Archangel Uriel. Archangel Sandalphon, call him in a healing session for yourself as well. He's music and dancing, right? These are just snippets. The archangels do a lot more in their categories, but again, this is only an hour show. So connecting on that level, Archangel Gabriel, communication. I call him in anytime I do the radio show, anytime I do Facebook Lives or YouTube shows or whatever it might be. Writing, he is my go-to for communication, for writing things out. I will bring him in. I will channel messages through him sometimes for clients as well, which is really awesome to bring that energy together. We have Archangel Azrael. He is the angel of death, the grim reaper that some of you will call, but it isn't like that. His energy is so big. He's about bringing the souls in that transitional state from human life back to spirit. And he's also part of the birth process, you guys. And a lot of people don't know that. And that's what's really awesome is that it's about new beginnings, fresh starts, and that transition back home into spirit form. So I do use him a lot. And I was afraid of him. I'm not going to lie. He had come to me in my younger days, not being so knowledgeable and understanding. And it scared me until I realized who it was and what I was doing and how we were to work together. Archangel Raziel is the hidden secrets. He was actually the first archangel to ever come to me. And this was only about 8 years ago or so. And I was doing a meditation in my parents' backyard, and my mom has a pool and a fountain, and I was just really in the zone. And all of a sudden, this bright light came in, and it was this, I've never seen anything like it. And I didn't want to open my eyes because I knew it would go away. And they spell for me because I do automatic writing. And he spelled his name, except I got the E and the I backwards. So I started doing research at the end. I'm like, what is this? And realized that I have this deep connection with him as well. He's the keeper of secrets also. They say that he is one that is constantly keeping all of God's words and books, right? So you believe what you want, and that for me, it was exactly how I was seeing him. So it was very validating for me on that level. Archangel Jophiel is beauty. So you could bring her in with the cherubim and seraphim if you want to create a beautiful space and you want to energetically, attune it with music as well, right? So I love that energy with her. Archangel Shamuel. I always get this one backwards. Sorry, Spirit Walker Nicole. Uh, it's relationships and love, bringing him in. Now, again, angels, archangels do not necessarily identify with male or female. When I say him or her, this is how I associate them with my energy. For you, it might be different, and that's perfectly fine. Archangel Ariel is all about the ground, Mother Earth, animals, plants, and manifesting. So you guys can still use tonight's full moon energy from yesterday, the full worm moon in Libra, to allow yourself to manifest, bring in Ariel to amplify that even more. This is a super moon for us. The energy is intense. So bringing in her to help your manifestations would be a great tip, I'm telling you. So those are just a few of our archangels. And, we've got Metatron that we work with on a regular basis as well. It depends on what you need in your life. Doing some research on these and realizing, like, oh my gosh, I could totally use that energy to help kind of amplify or boost what I'm doing. That's what we're talking about, right? Um, I love Archangel Haniel. I'm starting to work with her energy. Again, this is still new. Some of these angels, and I don't work a lot with them. But she's about mystery. She's about the feminine energy in the moon. And I'm kicking myself because I'm like, why have I not worked with her before? All my release and intentions workshops that we have monthly are based on moon cycles. And so I'm actually getting to know that energy more and being able to call her in to create the workshops. And then I'll be inviting her into the workshops. But it's so empowering to know that I can do that. Any of us can do that with these angels and to allow them to come in. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the powers, such powerful healers, right? And how they can work with us on all levels, how we can help others by sending out these angels, which we can do. It's just, do they want to accept it, right? Do they want to take that energy in? You guys, I have got a cool thing. If you're down here in the San Diego, Riverside, LA County area, I'm doing a mystical tea party. It's my first outing in over a year. It is going to be at Sweetwater Farms Petting Zoo. If you go onto our Facebook page, Shades of Spirit LLC, you can read all about it. I have celebrity chef Nicole Moreno, who's making lunch. We're going to be on the property of Sweetwater Farms. So we're going to have mystical animals joining us. And LaShawn Butler and myself will be doing psychic medium readings. And then you guys are going to get cool keychains as well. So that is my first event in a long time, which, yes, I've already had you guys asking me, means that I will be doing in-person group readings probably in May, along with the COVID restrictions we have to follow still. But it's time. It's time to get out there. It's time to get going. When we get back from break, we will take our first caller, as well as talk about the powers and how they can help us heal within ourselves, to a degree that I don't think a lot of us have ever felt before. So I'll see you right after this break. I love it. Our angels are by our side, you guys, every day. They are all accessible to us anytime, day or night. They have the big 24/7 sign flashing above us if we could just see it and connect with it. So before I talk about the powers, let's take our first caller.
Carla from New Jersey, are you there?
I'm here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Benny.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's Monday. I get to talk about angels and connect with them, connect with you guys. It couldn't be any better this morning. What can I do for you?
Well, I love an angel reading. Just feeling like in a rut. I don't know. For whatever the angels and guides have to tell me, I'd appreciate it.
I get the little rut, I mean, we're all kind of coming out of this fog and haze slowly but surely, and it just is something that we just we're close. We're so close. Are you connecting with your spirit team on a regular basis, calling in your angels?
Yeah, and honestly, not much seems to change.
Okay.
That's a little bit frustrating.
I understand that. And that is actually something that I have experienced in my own life is sometimes I'm like, I'm calling you in, I'm asking for some favors. What's going on here? Um, and
All the time.
a lot of times I find that I am not able to see clearly based on my own energy in the human form. So they're giving me the signs, they're trying to point me in the right direction or connect me with the right people, but I chose to shut down. So I would find, the past couple years have been a difficult time in my own personal life. And I would hit those states of being depressed and feeling in that low vibration and just, not wanting to get out of bed, and I would have things that I would have to do, or my mom would want, oh, let's go to lunch, and I would just shut down. And my team's like, how are you going to see any of the signs? How are you going to be able to move forward when you're asking us for guidance, when you are staying in this vibration? And it's natural for us to be able to stick in that zone. And so it's about opening up. It's about kind of realizing that we're doing this for ourselves as well. That obviously I know you understand they can't do it for us, but we're missing the things that they're trying to get to us because we're still in this energetic, funk, if you will. The card I pulled out of the deck today for you is interesting. It's the Angel of Clairaudience. So it's about hearing. It's about listening. It's about bringing that energy in. And when we can do that, you can start to speak your own truth. And so your team is kind of rallied around you. And I feel like this is also a healing time for you as well. Does that make sense?
No, I'm not really.
Okay, because they're showing me when they come around you in that circle, it's about embracing you. It's about healing for you. It's about connecting on that level. And for you, they're saying we're trying to get those messages in. We're trying to get into a space where you can hear us and so that we can connect more. Clear audiences being able to hear in a psychic sense through sound. Maybe it's putting on music and calling in Archangel Sandalphon or calling in the cherubim and seraphim and saying, I'm putting music on, I can hear it. I want to start hearing messages through it. Do you listen to music? Do you put the radio on, or do you listen to music in the car when you're driving?
Occasionally. I used to a lot more. Yeah, not so much.
Okay, so I would suggest your team is kind of bringing that in of just connecting on that level because songs have meanings. And I know I play the game with my spirit team of put the songs on today that I need to hear for my highest and best. And sure enough, there's songs with messages that when I start listening to them really resonate with me. And that's one way that they can get into my energy field and start bringing my energy vibration up to connect with them. But it's about finding some things that you find joyful in your life as well. And that seraphim and cherubim energy can definitely bring that joy back in and find that connection. Because what I am seeing is like a disconnect almost from the person that you were to the person you are now, and the person that you're moving into in that future sense as well, is healed, is feeling energetically just fantastic, is in a space of able to be receiving on the end as opposed to just giving. And so they're saying if you can hear us, if you can use that clear audience and really understand hearing the word angel, listen for that word, somebody's name. Maybe you see it written somewhere, my angel on a bumper sticker. Those are the ways that they're trying to get into your energy. For me, I saw 444, which is the numerical sequence for your angels trying to connect with you. I saw it 5 times yesterday. That's unheard of for me. Triple fours. They knew I had this workshop coming in. They know that I'm going through my own energy. Sunday night was kind of a emotional disaster for me, but I had to process and move it out, and they were showing me we're here with you. And I acknowledged the signs. And every time I did that, they brought another one to say, don't let us go. We're with you right now. And that's what I'm going to suggest for you on that connection part of it. And I will leave you with that today. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Take care.
And that's a big thing, everybody, is that sometimes we are asking for the signs. And I know it gets frustrating from our spirit team, from our angels, from other angels, from our loved ones. But we're missing the signs because of where our energy is at. And so if we can bring ourselves even up a half a notch, taking a walk outside, connecting with, with music, taking that drive and just allowing ourselves to be in that space of openness. For me, it's cooking, that mindfulness practice, allowing them to come in. We start to see movement. We start to see those signs from them. The powers are an interesting group. They are healers, and they are some of the biggest healers out there, folks. So they can work, Archangel Raphael, they work with him, but they come down as a group. Now, when Spirit Walker Nicole started connecting with them, I was doing a Reiki session on her. And I'm not going to lie, it was probably one of the most intense sessions I've ever done. This is where we could do it in person. Um, and so I was working on her, and she said, "No, call in the powers and start to feel their energy." Well, the session to me felt fairly similar to what I normally do. I could feel a bigger presence come in energetically. She could feel them working on her in certain parts that she needed to kind of move energy out of. But what happened is that I ended up getting, because as Reiki practitioners, we channel the energy through. So we're also getting the benefit of the energy as well as our client. I had a 3-hour absolute breakdown. And this was at probably one of my lowest parts of going through a divorce, not spending every day with my kids, not having that connection. I was still connecting with spirit and doing readings, and that would bring me up, but then I would fall right back down into that space, right? Like I was talking just a second ago with Carla, like being in that low, low space. And it didn't hit me until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I just lost it. I was the puddle on the ground, sobbing hysterically. I've never done that before. But what happened was, and Nicole actually came in and found me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I don't know what's happening. I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't bring in, reel it in." It's because the next day we were talking, I allowed the powers to work through me as well. And I had my own baggage and my own junk that I had to get rid of. And they pushed that through as I was working with Nicole on her energy. So when this particular filing comes down, when working with us and that inner healing, that energy is extremely powerful. And you guys will definitely feel it when working with them. Now, another group that I work with on the reg is the Carrions, and they carry dark entities away. And I don't want you guys to overthink the dark entities part. Again, that can go with the other show on lower vibrational energies, dark energies, negative energies, not the drug and alcohol or suicide. Those are those lower vibration energies I work with. Dark energies is lower than that, right? This is the Carrion's one job and their only job. So, again, controversy surrounds dark entities, what they are, who they are, where they came from, what they did in life, what do they do in spirit, right? So I'm not going to kind of, go into that part today. That's a completely different show. But if you guys think about it, if you watch the movie Ghost, and towards the end, when those energies would come out, right, they would come up through the shadows, and then they would take the soul of the person that had passed, and take that soul where it needed to go, right? Um, that's similar. I'm trying to give something that some of you might have seen as well, but at the same time, they are kind of cloaked as well, and they are some of the most beautiful angels out there. And they can help make the darkest of souls transition from that place of depths of hell, if you will, to a place of love and light. So I don't necessarily also believe that there's hell. I believe that the hell is a lot of times the human existence here on the earth plane and the lessons we learn. But when we are in some of those really dark, dark places, you have your specialty team to come in and help us move out of that energy. With that being said, I've got one more break to do. We're going to talk about the virtues. We're going to talk about the dominions. I'm just super excited about the rest of this show. So you guys join me on YouTube as well. Shades of Spirit is our YouTube channel. The Fierce Four, we meet every Sunday minus Easter or like Mother's Day. And we do shows around certain topics. So last night we had a great time. We did crystal grids. So you can jump on Shades of Spirit, subscribe, hit the bell, get notified every time we jump on. Each one of us jumps on during the week as well in order to just give you little tips of the trade, if you will, and how to sage, like LaShawn talks about, how to connect with crystals. I did a quick talk on the moon energy. So join us over there as well. And I'm going to see you right after this break. I love it. Just call me Angel. There we go. All right, welcome back, you guys. I'm Psychic Medium Jamie. You are watching Eye of Soul Radio today, and we are talking about angels and the different phylums and classifications. I do want to throw out there that if you guys ever get hit up or requested on any of our feeds, whether it be Shades of Spirit or whatever, we do not endorse anybody hitting you guys up for readings. So I'm throwing that out there right now. On that note, I love working with this next group, and it's the virtues. And why is that? Because the virtues review our blueprint, right? So, right before we decide to reincarnate, yes, I believe in past lives. I do past life readings. It's actually been a big topic lately. But they're over here reviewing on the other side our blueprint, making sure we've got all the fine tuning and details, making sure that we have no loose ends on our journey, right? That way, um, when we come over here, we're able to connect with them on a level when we start to, stray off that path, you will, if you will, or that blueprint, right? So think about the show Love Boat, right? I know, again, I'm dating myself again, but the Love Boat, right? And they had that cruise director named Julie, and she would greet everybody as they came in. She would have everybody's directions and itineraries, and this is what's happening in stage room or stage one, this is over here happening here. Oh, you're going on, this excursion, right? That's kind of what the virtues are doing. They're kind of like those cruise directors, if you will, and they welcome us in, right? And they're like, okay, you're about to reincarnate. Great. Let's go over your blueprint one more time. You got it. All right. Your spirit team, everybody on the same page. Angels, everyone get a thumbs up. All right. Now let's send you in. And that's what they're doing with us. So if you are ever at a loss, if we are at a space where we're just like, what am I supposed to be doing? Why am I learning these lessons? What are these patterns? What is happening? Check in with your spirit team, your angels, and the virtues and ask them to have a meeting and set it up with them and say, I need some help getting back on my path. I need some help following my blueprint. Can you please start directing me in that way? Again, it's just like connecting with our angels, you guys. When we ask them for that, they can now start to work with us. But we have to be open to see the signs, to see the directions, to feel that gut instinct. So, for our caller earlier, probably our solar plexus needs a little bit of energy work, and you can do that through guided meditations on YouTube or seeing a Reiki practitioner. But that is our intuition. And so when we're not following that gut check, if we're supposed to be, going home and we always turn right and you really feel like you should turn left, but you didn't, there could be an opportunity over there or a sign that we're missing. And so they can help direct us in that path. We just have to be open. Um, Dominion angels are of record keeping, right? Associated with the Akashic records. So we do readings with that as well. They keep track of everything we do, especially all of our good stuff, right? So when I go in to do a session, I actually sit in my own hall that I have up in Spirit World, and books come in for me, and they will be in colors or they'll have different titles and different colors and all that fun stuff. And what happens is that I can go into those books to be able to see what it is that we have done in the past, where we're at in the present. And on occasion, they'll allow me to speak into the future to help with guidance, direction, validation on your path. But it's something you've already thought about. You've already put that thought into existence, and now it's in motion. Um, Also, you want to think of them as being those. I don't want to say nerds because that's not an appropriate term, but like they are definitely the ones out there that are on that higher level of education, if you will, because of the details that they pay attention to as they record everything. And when we cross over, they're helping us in that life review process. So they're very involved in what we're doing. Um, Also, it's one of those, they help us get out of the I should have, I could have, I would have's, right? And that's a big thing to be able to move out. They help highlight what it is that we hit home, that home run. They're here to be like, but look, okay, so maybe you made a mistake over here, you repeated this pattern, but look on this side, look at all the cool things you did. And they help kind of be our cheerleaders as well and boost that energy up. But they're recording every single one of our life lessons in order for us to learn when we ascend on the spiritual side. It's all about evolution, in my opinion and perspective, and ascension on our soul's path, our soul's journey. And so that's what they're doing, and they're helping us not feel bad in that respect either. We have our throne warriors with swords, and they are associated with the mother god energy. Okay. And that's to fight the darkness. Some people will think of Mother God energy. They will call it different things, right? Sometimes they'll call it Mother Mary. Sometimes they'll call it Asna. Some people say there's a ton of different names that Mother got and is associated with, but at the same time, Mother Mary is the queen of the angels, right? So, however you want to call her or connect with her, um, and that's where this comes from, the thrones. It's that feminine side of this energy. It's the warrior that surrounds that mother. And those throne angels, those throne warriors actually surround that throne in order for protection, right? They go into groups and fight wherever there is negativity and darkness that necessitates or that needs attention. So think about that process when they are working in those lower energies, when you've got the carrions coming in to help move this negative energy out. If there's a need, they will work on the other side. This part, I know for some of you are like, well, I had you until this part. And now you're telling me that a group of angels called the thrones come in and they're over here like battling the unseen forces. Well, why not? If we're here, why would that not happen on the other side, right? And for the final one, it's the principalities. They are warriors. They're associated with Father God. So you have the thrones, which are Mother God, and the principalities, which is Father God. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, so I apologize. And they rarely ever leave his side, right? Except for a couple instances. Natural disasters when danger is near. So Father got energy in researching the segment. The principalities are stoic warriors, right? So we think about that too. We probably would surround ourselves if we were the creator um, with ones that would protect us as well. And that's where it gets more into some of that biblical. Those get to be in some of those controversy, topics that obviously in a show where I only have 4 minutes left, we aren't going to be able to get into. But it's good to know that there are other energies out there to help protect, the creator, if that's what you believe in. If not, just know that they are there to help us in instances to where they need to all come in and to be able to help protect us as well. They're all watching us, and that is the interesting part of this. Is on this journey they're watching us. They are recording. They're sending us love. They're ready to do healing with us. They're ready to play the music for us. They're ready to give us the signs and symbols. But we have to connect. We have to be able to ask them for that and feel worthy of it. We need to be in a space to where we're open and honest with ourselves and what we need in life. And if we don't know, you can ask them that as well. They're not going to be able to tell us the answer, right off the bat. We have to do the work. But if we are open to the signs and listening and feeling and checking our gut, we're going to get led into those directions as well. You guys, this has been an awesome show. I always love doing these shows and talking about, what I see, what I know, how I feel. Again, if you want to book an appointment, you can go to shadesspirit.com. We have all sorts of things that we do on there. As a Reiki master, I do a Reiki flow session and we connect with your energy. I do a lot of distance Reiki, obviously, right now in this time. So you can book just a distance session. And I will bring in the powers. I will bring in Archangel Raphael. I will bring in the cherubim and seraphim, and we work together. And you can do the same thing. So I want you guys to just take one quick second, and I want you just to quiet your minds for a moment and take a couple of nice deep breaths. And I want us all to just be in that space of love and light and empowerment. We're going to call in an angel that resonates with you, whether it be someone on your own team or whether it be someone on the outside. Maybe it's somebody you've learned about today. And I just keep wanting you to take some nice deep breaths and center yourself and connect. And in that process, allow that energy to move forward, allow that energy to come to you. And I want you to feel. Now, I have never been able to see an angel's face. That's something that very few people can do when they're connecting that high, but feel the energy. Maybe you'll see that it gets to be brighter and lighter behind your closed eyelids. Maybe you're going to feel the energy on your right side. All of a sudden, you've got these weird chills or prickles or goosebumps, but allow that energy to come in. And I want you to connect. And as we end the show, I want you to stay in this moment. I want you to stay connected to this energy, and I want you to have a frank conversation with them for what you need right now. It's about empowerment. It's about connection. Call on your angels, call on any of these phylums, do research, but most importantly, make sure you connect. I want to thank you guys all for joining me today, and I will see you on Wednesday. Shades of Spirit will be back at it again, 5 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio and Shades of Spirit LLC on Facebook. Have a great week, you guys.